We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE, welcome back to the channel that does the stupidity what's about to happen to the brain cells of everybody watching this stream. Just got to say I apologise in advance. Please take a look at the title and notice how I've written the word debate. Mallory's been on a couple of times and frankly broke me the first time. And I gave her the honorary title of someone that beat me in debate as a flat earther because frankly I couldn't respond. Twice, yes. I couldn't respond to the things that she said. I admit I had no way of debunking the evidence that she presented. That doesn't mean what you think. I suggest go and watching the other streams with Mallory in. Take facepalm protection. But tonight, I guess because I hate him or something, I decided to ask PhD Tony to come and debate Mallory. Tony, I'm sorry. I'm sure this is going to be the last time we ever talk. So thank you for coming on.
Possibly. I'd like to clarify what everybody means by the term debate, and in particular what Mallory imagines the term debate to mean. Because in my understanding of the term debate is that both sides know in advance the topic that is going to be debated. And I have tried to receive clarification from Mallory about what this evening's discussion is going to be about. What format it's going to take, what she expects from me, and all she's done is laugh at me. So I have treated this like...
I did not.
Well, you said you found it hilarious. That to me suggests that you're laughing. But you certainly didn't provide me with any information that might have been useful in preparing any material or presentation.
Like, we haven't really spoke one-on-one. Like, we were talking in, like, chats and stuff. So
yes,
I probably said hilarious to somebody else about something, and you read it.
Okay, well, that's not how I interpret what happened, but obviously you have a different interpretation from me on that. I doubt that's the first time that we'll say it, but in a debate, I expect to know what the topic of the debate is in general, and I don't think that it's particularly honest to say I want to debate PhD Tony, but I'm not going to tell him what I want to debate him about.
The shape of the Earth. That's what this channel is.
Well, it could have been the existence of gravity. It could have been the reality of space travel. It could have been, the second law of thermodynamics. There are many subtopics to this.
Is a war on biodynamics?
Sorry, what now?
Did you say there was a war on biodynamics?
No, he
No.
said
The
thermodynamics.
laws of thermodynamics.
Okay, go on.
Okay,
Sorry.
and I mean there are a bunch of there are a bunch of there are a bunch of subtopics that we could be discussing, and I had no idea what it was that we were going to be discussing, and I had a particularly frustrating experience with some flat earthers over the weekend, and I'm not in the most forgiving of moods. So I understand that you're one of the more polite and personable flat earthers, but if I'm brusque, it may be my frustration with the entire exercise boiling over. So anyway, let's get on with it.
Do you need some Midol or something?
Thank you. You're very kind.
Nerves.
Right.
I'm not nervous.
How about we start then with letting Mallory explain the reasons why she personally thinks that the Earth is flat, and then go from there. I mean, I've tried to broach the subject of evidence with Mallory, and I mean, it's not quite what I would consider evidence as such. So how about we let Mallory explain her position about the shape of the Earth. I know she has a couple of videos. We can leave those for a little bit later on. But Mallory, would you be okay with that? With starting with you explaining your position of why you think the Earth is flat.
And then after we could show the couple of videos I made?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. They are quite funny.
Promise?
Promise. I promise we will show those videos. Tony may even laugh at them.
We could have showed them we would. Okay. As long as we show them before Tony speaks, then I'm all good. So what was the question you want me to say? Why?
Yeah. What is your reason? What is your position for thinking that the Earth is flat? What has drawn you to that conclusion? And try and give us something tangible that you and Tony can have a discussion about.
Okay. Well, first you asked me why I think the world is flat, right?
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy. I even did some research that these celebrities and athletes flat earther Kerry Livin, he's MVP NBA. We got Kanye West, okay, on our team. We got WWE AJ Styles, the rapper B.O.B., Stephon Diggs, Geno Smith from the football team, Drayden Green from the NBA. We got Tequila. We got Whoopi Goldberg, who thinks the moon landing was also staged. Kelly Jenner believes also that also believes in chemtrails. We got Shaquille O'Neal, who's a globe skeptic. We got Sammy Watkins, another football player. We got Terrence Howard, believes that math is wrong and not to be trusted. And also from The View, Sherry Shepard from saying, all talking about flat Earth. Now, I even said, taking a look from this perspective, you got music videos. Are you familiar with Tony?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like music? Do you like music?
Some of it, yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with Daft Punk?
I've heard the name, yes.
All right. There's Around the World. Okay. So when you look at that video, they did I drew up something here. Give me 1 second. I drew up something right here where they do a song called Television Rules the Nation, and it pretty much shows how it's easy to trick people into believing the globe and everything else. Now, these people put that globalism is a dictatorship, and they leave little clues. If you saw the video Around the World, what you see is people dancing around a circle, right? And what are they going around? It's a flat surface, and that's where they're singing Around the World, and you see that's flat. You could see little clues here and there, Tupac that song California Love, and they actually talk about the dome, and they sing inside a dome. Like you take also, you know that song, Sweet Dreams Are Made of These, from the Aromatics. Are you
The
familiar with that song?
Eurythmics. Well, it's actually Eurythmics, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So you even go with them where she looks like a dictatorship because she has like a stick, and she's like talking to a mass, and they all have like shaved head that kind of look like sheeps. And then they show a rocket, and then all of a sudden they show the globe, right? And they're like, "Who Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Because you're being um thinking that when the majority thinks of one way, and when you see the symbolisms in that song, you could see there's a lot of Illuminati, a lot of secret societies when they show the one eye. Like it's known that when people cover their one eye, it means like they're kind of like in a secret cult type thing. Like you know this, I think you guys know this popular song from I forget who. Well, you know it. You know the song that you spin me right round, baby, right. You know that song.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
well, okay. When you look at that, he has the eye patch, which also goes into the Genesis and the Illuminati, and then you come up with like couple of it touches um a couple of religions in that way. And also he points out like a disco ball with a bow on it delivering you the lie. And then when you look at it, it's like a record. And what shape is the record, Tony?
It's disc.
It's
Record is
disc.
disc shape. Yep.
It's flat.
Help.
So all
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, all I'm saying is when you take these songs and you try to look for clues and things like that, like I even put this to the test. So what I did one night is I got up and I was listening to some music, and I thought, hey, um, Nicholas Cage makes these types of videos, and I found them like really fascinating. Like he unclues Hollywood movies, and he unbunks like all these mass-produced things. And and what you see is I took, the song Alien Ant Farm, Smooth
No.
Criminal. Well,
Uh,
okay, okay, well, you know the song, Michael
Smooth,
Jackson's
smooth.
song
Michael
Yeah,
Smooth
Michael
Jackson
Criminal.
did it
Jackson.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what I did is I paid attention, and I figured out that Smooth Criminal, that video by Alien Ant Farm, actually predicted the COVID pandemic for the
Pandemic.
2001. I wrote it all down because it starts off with a kid with a mask, right? And AFF equals China. The shirt that he was wearing is 712. And then when you put that in, it equals up to new beginnings. And that song came out in 1988. And when it popped out, that song, it like the original, the Michael Jackson, came out in 1988. And it was number 7 on the charts. 13 years later, Alien Ant Farm came up with that song. Now, when you add that
What
all
is
up, it
happening?
equaled to 2021, which also is the new beginning, which is COVID. And when you take all of that,
But
you
that
know
came
the
out in
rumors that are coming
2019.
out when you look about Trump and everything else there, and more recently, they're talking
Hey,
about aliens.
Mallory, could we stick with why you think the Earth's flat?
This is what I'm trying to tell you, this songs, and I'm trying to show you proof that
Well,
I took one and I
yeah. I
I
mean, you
separated everything, because what they're saying is that aliens are coming, and it's because ant farms, we are the ants, we're just slaves. Like I'm trying to show you right here,
but
like how all this works.
Alien Ant Farm were just a mediocre rock band from the 2000s. I mean,
Okay. I have a. If I can
yeah.
ask a question.
Please do.
So you're suggesting that I should listen to the rapper B.O.B. because he's good at music,
No, I'm
right?
saying he's a
No,
flat
he's not.
earther.
Yes, and why is his opinion on the shape of the Earth important? Because he's good at music, because he writes songs.
Well, no, I was just telling you that
Okay, Well,
Celebrities and
actually,
you asked me a question.
Wait.
yes, and it was
Let him finish his point.
So, Mallory, I let you talk for quite some time, right? And I asked you a yes or no question.
Okay. You didn't say if it was yes or no. My apologies.
Okay, so what you seem to be suggesting is that I should be listening to BOB because of BOB's opinion about the shape of the Earth.
I didn't say
Because he's a
listen to
good.
it.
Okay, well, you're saying that you listen to BOB's
Personally,
opinion.
I like Kanye West.
Okay.
Out of like
Well, that's
all the
great.
flat earther rappers out there, I think Kanye West
Okay.
is probably the better one.
Okay, but why is Kanye West's opinion about the shape of the Earth of any value whatsoever?
I was giving you examples of the flat earthers that believe in the flat Earth.
Yes, and why are their opinions worth listening to? Okay, so let me ask you this. So you seem to be taking advice about science from people who are good at other things like music or sport.
Oh, I never said they were scientists.
No, but you didn't name a single scientist, right? You don't seem to be getting your advice about science from scientists.
But then I was on McToon and he said when you look at sometimes the list of scientists, they even have dentists on there. So you want so you're saying that if a dentist came along and he was like, yeah, Mallory, the earth is flat, you'd be like, oh, that's cool because technically he's a scientist.
No.
And he looks at
suggest no.
Technically that's what you're saying.
I'm clipping that.
Actually, Mallory, it isn't. And you haven't got any idea what I'm saying because you won't let me finish it. Okay? I let you speak uninterrupted for heaven knows how long, and you won't let me get 2 consecutive sentences out without talking over me.
It was probably like 3 minutes, honestly.
Please just let Tony finish his thought, and
okay.
work with him in his hypotheticals. Okay.
Okay. When a scientist can be wrong. All that matters in terms of scientific reality is that the result has been published in a peer-reviewed journal and it has subsequently been replicated and validated by subsequent studies and has been independently verified. Those are the only 2 things. So if an individual scientist comes up to you, as I'm coming up to you now, and just giving their opinion on something, you don't have to listen to that. But the way science works in general is that we publish things in journals and we peer review them. We make sure that what this scientist is saying makes sense to all the other scientists, and then we try and work out, because it's possible that there may be multiple interpretations. It's possible that there may be errors in that study, subtle errors in that study that don't turn out to be obvious initially. So we verify it. That's how science works. So no, a dentist isn't a scientist, and B, the private opinion of a dentist or a scientist doesn't carry any weight. Just like yes.
What kind of scientist?
I'm a geophysicist.
A geophysicist?
A geophysicist. That is somebody who specializes in studying the physical processes that impact the Earth and the Earth's response to them.
I'm not even sure what that means. Like, I thought PhD kind of stands for, like, probably heavy in debt.
Okay. Well,
That's
you
a
were
very
mistaken.
funny joke.
Could we play my video?
I don't think it's the right time right now.
Well,
We will.
what you said was right
Let's
after that
let's
I spoke
let's
and before
sure.
Tony
Let's play the
spoke.
video.
It's not evidence of any kind, Tony. I said I apologise in advance.
Okay.
I'll play one of them now. We can play another one later. Okay.
La la la, la la la. Oh, hello. Sometimes getting a good night's sleep is not as easy as shutting your eyes. Do you suffer from sleepless nights? Hard time falling asleep? Troubles with insomnia? Well, people are always telling me, wow, Mallory, what's your secret? You look so refreshed. Well, let me tell you my secret. Today, I'm selling a guided journey to the deep sleep narrated by PhD Tony. Guaranteed to put you to sleep or your money back. And only for either 2 payments of $29.48
What
or
is
one
happening?
solid payment of $58.95. Wow! What a deal! And if you put in the code Tony Sucks, all capital letters, you get free shipping and handling. Wow! So, don't delay, order today!
I don't.
That's quite good.
Yeah. I mean.
I would have led with that. I certainly would have led a show those ahead of time. That was good.
Help me,
Thank
somebody.
you. You should watch the second one because it's for the beginning of the stream where everyone needs to purchase a Wake Up Voodoo doll today. Wow!
All right.
Play it.
Okay, fine.
Go
I'll
on.
play the other
Go
one.
on.
Hi, Grovers.
The woke
I
best is
care
the
about
pair.
your well-being, so I got a product for you. See, I notice when PhD Tony talks on live streams, I notice that there's people that type Z's or they get a little sleepy. Well, I thought to myself, well, that can't be safe if somebody was driving while listening or operating on a heavy equipment. So I got a product for you. That's right. Keep awake personal voodoo doll. All you have to do is cut a little piece of your toenail or you could lick it and voila, presto. You got yourself your own personal voodoo doll. And
Oh,
all you
God.
need to do is give yourself a little prick. If you start falling asleep, your eyes are getting a little heavy, poke, poke, just on the tip, and you're wide awake. Only for $58.95. Wow! And as well, this one too, just on this stream, if you type in Tony Sucks, all capital letters, you get free handling and shipping. Wow! Boop.
No, I'm not prepared for that.
I mean, I'm genuinely not prepared for that. Thank you for that, Mallory. That's Mallory's
You're
public
very
service
welcome.
announcement.
Those are extremely well done.
Thank you. Also for today, I made a couple of merch things, and just for today and only today, if you actually do type in all capital letters, Tony Sucks on my here, I'll put in this thing if it's allowed. If you put in capital letters,
Capital letters.
Tony Sucks, you actually get free shipping and handling just for today. Wow! So please get your merch because I am running for president. So please vote for Mallory for president 2024. Thank you.
That was good.
I just want to say, MC Toon, this is all your fault. Every single bit of it, we blame you completely.
Actually, he also taught me that when Tony was talking about peer review, that sometimes it's not the greatest thing.
Yeah, and that's why I said That's why I said, peer review is the minimum standard, but beyond getting past peer review, it has to be
Well, that's
validated, and there's a lot of stuff that turns out to be wrong.
See, I'm just
Yeah.
telling you, there's some things I actually do pay attention. I do understand
Okay.
that.
Excellent.
So peer review
Excellent.
does not equal actual citations. You're welcome.
Well, you can cite a peer-reviewed journal, but that doesn't mean that the peer-reviewed journal that doesn't mean that journal is going to be accepted by others as being any good. So yeah, and it's a good point. It's a very good point. You get you do get incorrect results that get published, and sometimes people will even publish them on purpose. So they may say, look, I don't think that this is right, but we're going to have a good discussion if we publish this. So this is going to promote a good exchange within the community, even though the reviewers don't necessarily think that it's a great publication. That can happen too. But what doesn't happen is that somebody comes up outside of a peer-reviewed journal, says something, and everybody else in science has to believe that what they're saying is true. Gleam is a big fan of taking stuff that Paulie wrote in letters, or taking crappy publications that have like 2 citations, and claiming that the rest of us have to concede that he's right because these things exist. No, that's not how science works. And my suggestion is that rather than listening to good musicians or good athletes when they have an opinion about science, my suggestion is that you actually listen to the good scientists. Just like, I'm not actually that good a scientist, but even as a mediocre scientist, I would make a piss poor rapper. Or music critics. So don't listen to my opinions on that. But I
sing
can
your favorite
guide you.
song?
No, I don't. No, I don't want to do that.
That's a real shame.
It is a real shame, but
If I was running for president between me and you, who do you think would win presidency?
I think you would. Absolutely.
Wow. Did you just hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Between Tony and I, if I was running for president, Tony said I would win. Vote for Mallory.
Donald Trump became president. Anything's possible, really, isn't it? So,
anything is possible. And we thought George W. Bush was bad. As has been pointed out, I am having audio issues. I can't get my Yeti mic to work, and
can you hear me?
And
I
can hear you.
You're fine, Tony. It's just a little bit crackly, but you did say you had audio issues, so I've cleared it up as much as possible. It's right. You still sound fine.
But there's not much I can do about it. I'm in lockdown. I can't go out to the store and get a new one, and I suspect that it might have something to do with the USB ports on my desktop, so we're going to have to live with it, I'm afraid.
It could be the USB port on the actual Yeti, because that's one of the reasons mine died. They fail quite a lot.
Okay, well, I've got a new Yeti coming, so anyway.
Yeah, right, Mallory.
So, like a snow Bigfoot, a Yeti.
Yes, that's what the term Yeti means.
It's also a microphone. Mallory, why do you think there isn't any science that supports the flat Earth?
What do you mean a science?
Why do you think there isn't any science, any measurements, any experiments, any any source of study or anything scientific that supports the Earth being flat?
Well, for me, I don't believe that science has anything to do with it. You got a bunch of like scriggly maths, some gibberish freaking numbers going all into one, right? But then I just go with my senses. If I could see it, feel it, then I know what's right.
Can you see an electron?
Many other people. What?
Can you see an electron?
What's an electron?
Electron.
Okay.
What's an like
We're
talking about like
so
robots, like Transformers?
No, it's a subatomic particle that plays an important
Electrons
role
roll
in
out.
electricity. So do you believe in electricity?
Well, yeah.
Have you ever? Okay. How do you
But you
think
do see when
electricity was?
electricity goes on, you see the light come on. You when you
Yes,
put bread in
that's
a
right.
toaster, it toasts it.
Yes, and when you use GPS, you get results, and that's from GPS satellites that tell us that the Earth is spheroidal.
The Earth is what?
Spheroidal.
Spheroidal.
Spheroidal?
Spheroidal, yes. It's
What
roughly a
word
sphere.
is that? Spheroidal. It's kind of fun to say. Okay, I can't say it a third time. I'm sorry. It's just a fun word. Okay,
Well,
I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'm trying to be, I use that word because the Earth is not actually a sphere, right? It's close to a sphere.
Can you spell that out in the chat so I could copy paste it?
Sure, why not?
So,
I did it
Mallory,
in the main chat.
People are saying in the chat that you're a substitute science teacher. Is that true?
I'm a substitute teacher, yes.
For science?
Okay.
For all kinds of topics. I do whatever like the teacher goes off about. I read like half of it and I just pretty much just like chill, really.
Okay.
Worrying.
So yeah, this is that would explain a lot. But like you don't need to know. Can you name the first person who did any determinations that the Earth was a ball, roughly a sphere?
You're asking me who came up with the globe theory?
I'm asking you with the person who came up with the most famous proof, the oldest, the most original.
Oh, I have no idea. I know like two Greek ancestors believe that the world was flat, but I don't know who came up with the most popular for globe.
That would be Eratosthenes, and Eratosthenes did a famous experiment, with a well and a stick, and from these he worked out approximately the circumference of the Earth. Now, he's famous. Why do you think it is that the first person who came up with the concept that the Earth is flat is not famous? Because it doesn't take any work.
But
you
didn't
can
you
just go,
finish saying like how you don't like how when I went on a spew about like Kanye West and Tequila and Whoopi Goldberg and Keller Jenner, like these are like famous people, but now you're trying to tell me about a famous glober. Like why is my answer wrong?
I am not saying that the Earth is round because Eratosthenes said so, right? I am saying that Eratosthenes is famous because he didn't just say, looks flat to me, and that's good enough. He went out and he did some work. He went out and he investigated the matter further. He went out and he got some evidence. And that seems to me to be the impediment that you're running into, is looks
What's
flat
that?
to me. Well, impediment. Do you understand the word impediment?
No. You need to like
obstacle.
Drop some of these like multiple vowel words and cut it a bit short there.
Okay.
Honestly.
All right. So
you're the one that stated you have a PhD in your name, right? Like, if you're smart enough, like you're not. This is why I picked you, because I'm hoping that you just don't regurgitate what you've read and just parrot, and rather just trying to put it into your own words, or you could explain it to somebody like me and see if anything will shake an apple from a tree.
But I've seen you in the chat while I've presented my evidence. You don't respond to the evidence that I've presented. You say, well, that's squiggly lines. You say that's
Because I can't have a conversation in a live chat when it's going millions of things, like going so quickly. It's impossible to have a discussion. I'm trying to go with the OP or the host on what's going on like what's on the theme, rather than having like open disputes on a chat, because everyone's like, hey, how's it going? Like, I'm all right, and let me share some laughs and stuff like that. Like, it's
so all right, do you want me to re-present some of the material that I presented earlier?
yeah.
Do you want me?
If you think,
okay,
if it like,
or
you have to like keep it simple. Like what you had showed to Tony Naomi or whatever, like Naomi bar. You had shown this like triangle with like a bunch of fucking, sorry, I don't want to swear. Like with a bunch
honestly,
of
it's fine.
Okay, with like a bunch of freaking like colorful lines. It didn't even like mean anything to me. Like a lot, like I tried, like I had subscribed to you, and honestly, I tried. I like, went to your videos and I pressed play, and then I'm like, well, you can't see what my eyes are doing, but
yeah.
like it was just blank, right? And I tried, like, when every time that I watch, you got like, I've been, obviously people know me or around me, and they'll be like, watch this and watch that, and I'm like, okay, bruh, like how the fuck you want? Is this like a code? Like, what the fuck you want me to do with this? Like, there's like some people who try, and we get into like heated debates sometimes, and I don't know, man. Like, you have to like simple it down. Like, that's what I was trying to say to pick you, because here you are with like a preparation HD like thing, and you want me to be to understand. So that's what I'm trying to do, is like make me understand, because what I'm seeing here is I could feel it, I could see it. I've seen some videos, like I'm following like sometimes where it's an inevitable, where I'm trying where I see
Words
some
are hard,
goobers
huh?
like debunk some things, and I'm like, okay, so I won't bring that up. Like, I've grew a lot, man. Like, since I've been around here, people have noticed a nice little change in me. I started to adult. I'm waking up in the AM. Like, I've been going on the job boards. I got myself a little part-time job. It's great. Like, I'm starting the slowly of the steps here, but I'm still going to tell you how I came up with my flat earth evidence, and try to keep it as, yokel as possible, because that's who I am.
Okay, and that's fair enough. So I'll just bring up a presentation here. But the big thing for me is distances, right? Well, I keep on ending sentence distances. So how far? When you get it, have you ever flown on a plane?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's how I also know that it's flat.
Okay. Do you know how the pilots work out how much fuel they need?
Well, no, I'm not. No, I.
Okay, so they worked out the distance from from the point where they started to the point where they finished. They worked out that distance, and they calculated how much fuel they were going to need, and they factored in various things like wind conditions and the amount of load they have, and they allowed some slack on top of that. Now, how did they work out the distance? Is the point that I'm trying to get at here, and it turns out that there's a way you can do it. Right? There's just a very simple way that you can get 2 points, any 2 points on Earth's surface, and you can calculate the distance between them.
See, this is where I found it kind of interesting, because somebody was saying about distance and stuff, right? Frack.
May I share my screen, team? Sorry, Five.
Yeah, please do.
So when you're saying like some.
Oh shit! I need to allow you. My bad. 2 secs.
Yep.
But this is where it
There
gets
you
a
go.
little tricky, and I got heated with one person while just shooting the shit on Discord and on a call. Was okay, so I can measure from here to this to the building beside me, and then some. I don't know how. I'm not sure what you guys what kind of math you guys are calling this. I forget. But then somebody else could do one. But one thing I don't understand is how can you definitely know how far is the sun when you never could make it to the sun or to the moon or to Pluto, because you guys are just doing an estimate math due to what is it, parallax, is that called parallax measurements?
Well, some of those are parallax measurements and some of
Yeah,
those aren't. But
like parallax in things. And but honestly, you guys have never actually been there, so how do you guys know? Like, you guys are just making a weird ass formula to just work your narrative. that's that's
can I?
because
I okay. So to answer your question, let's start with Earth. We'll get to the distances to the other objects in a bit, but we're going to stay on one topic, and that is distances between 2 points on Earth. Okay? So we're going to start there and we're going to work outwards. Does that make sense?
no,
Why not?
because I have no idea what you just said. You asked me if it makes sense and it doesn't.
Okay,
But
we
why?
are going to consider the subject of distances between points on Earth.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to the other topics that you raised, distances to other places, in a bit. It's not that I'm ignoring that, but we're going to start on Earth. Okay, can you see on my screen?
I could see what's on your screen.
Okay. Now, if I know the latitude and longitude of any 2 points on Earth's surface, I can use this this technique right here to calculate the distance between those 2 points, and it's going to be pretty accurate. It's not going to be exactly right, but it's going to be pretty accurate
Is that
every single time.
Is that what you call the parallax measurements? Is that what we're
No,
looking? This is something
no.
else. Don't you find it
This is
kind of weird that the word sin is there?
Oh my god, it's
no,
sine.
that is a mathematical symbol for the sine operation, SINE.
But the E's
And
not there.
yes, because this is an abbreviation. This is a commonly used abbreviation. The cos means cosine, and the sine and SIN. This is standard mathematical notation.
This is standard math.
Yes. And you should have learned trigonometry. You know, do you teach what level of schooling do you teach?
Oh, elementary.
Okay, so you don't teach trigonometry.
Absolutely not.
Okay, but you learnt trigonometry when you were at school.
No.
Okay.
Why
So
not?
these are. I have to say that I'm a bit surprised because trigonometry is year 8, year 9 operations.
Yeah, my son's
So,
learning trig
yeah.
right now.
I went to a French Catholic school. We did I did a lot, but we didn't do treg.
I mean, that explains some stuff, I guess.
Okay, so anyway, the people who have done trigonometry can do these operations and they can work out, you know, and even if you've got a calculator, you can put these numbers in and
I don't carry a calculator.
You've got a computer in front of you.
Okay, but I'm not suggesting that you do this now. I'm suggesting that somebody like a pilot, for instance, who wants to know how far it is from Seattle to Buffalo, or
well, that's already in Google Maps.
Right. But you understand that people did want answers to these questions before Google Maps existed, right?
Kind of. Well, to be honest, at this point, anything before Google Maps is kind of irrelevant because everything, everything is like right there.
No,
But I just
it
checked the
isn't.
I just asked Windows to pop out my calculator, and I don't see there's like a 1 on an X, an X2, and an X with a check mark with an X. There's no there's no
Yeah, so you don't have a scientific calculator.
Yeah, they don't have like. You mean like these like demonic numbers?
Demonic numbers.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Windows Standard has a scientific calculator.
So, all I can say is that every reasonable, you can down. Do you have a phone? You can download a scientific calculator onto your phone. There are scientific calculator applications. But regardless, it doesn't matter that you can't do it because you aren't calculating the amount of fuel that goes into a plane. Pilots are. And this is the formula they use to work out how far they're going to travel. And it works every single time. But it can only work every single time if we're on a sphere or a spheroid, more technically, right? So, and you talk about it being irrelevant back in the good old days. You seem to. So, have you heard of Captain Bligh, William Bligh?
No. I know Captain Hook, and that's the only captain I know, or Captain Kirk.
Okay, so this
Captain
is a famous. This is a famous story from the 19th century, early 19th century. Maybe it was the late 18th century. Can't exactly remember. But William Bligh was a naval officer who was sent on an expedition down to Tahiti. He stayed in Tahiti a long time. A lot of his crew got very attached. They liked Tahiti. They liked the ladies there. And they wanted to stay in Tahiti. And when Captain Bligh said, look, we have to be moving on, guys, they mutinied and they threw him and everybody loyal to him overboard in that little boat there. And
but how can you trust these stories when this was just, it could be written? Like when you atheists say like the people who wrote the Bible, it's been proven that it's not real, right? Or history has been written or rewritten and things like that. Like, how do you know that this is actually tangible about this Captain Tofua or whatever you said his name?
No, Captain William Bligh. And if you look on the right hand there, you'll see a photograph taken of his notebook.
I've watched movies where like people actually like could fake old documents. All it takes is like old ink and some time, and they just written with this old ink, and then they put it in something, and it's quite fascinating. I think they made like a couple of shows or movies or even like documentaries where people could actually write out and bullshit these old fake documents and to actually say that, oh, it's real, and they made mad cash, and only like later on because they probably got like.
When do you imagine that this happened?
Are you saying I'm making this up? Like people
No.
stuff.
No. When do you imagine that Captain William Bligh's journal was forged? When do you imagine that the records of the military investigation into this event were forged?
You want to talk about the military?
When do you imagine? The guy who
asked me just a question, but I'm just trying to answer.
Look,
you asked me a question, and then you're just talking over me. All I'm saying is, like, even first time that I was on Fight the Flat Earth, Craig and Mr. Craig, what was the dude's name?
Brainy Beaver?
Mr. Eagle. No, the Eagle dude.
Jared.
He was. Yeah. So when Jared he even said that he didn't even trust the military, and he worked for the military. So I'm just telling you that this could be really, you could actually poke holes into this documentary, like in this document. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm sorry, but
What?
Okay, so your argument is that any evidence that disagrees with you, any historical record, regardless of how well attested. So basically, the late 18th century, as far as you're concerned, didn't exist.
could. I'm saying like he could, he couldn't. All I'm saying, it's not tangible.
Yes.
Tangible.
Have you ever been to Mount Everest?
No.
Okay. So from your
I've
perspective,
never
Mount
seen a
Everest
mountain.
is not tangible.
It's kind of on a it's on my bucket list.
Look, so I'm mystified as to what you think the point of this conversation is.
Well, I'm trying to have a discussion with you. You're showing me this, and I'm showing you the other side. And I'm telling you that it was Jared, Mr. Eagle, who actually worked for the military, that said he doesn't even trust the military. This is coming from this own channel.
Yes, I don't think
I'm not
you
making
really...
this up.
My brain.
Okay, Mallory, if you're prepared to invoke conspiracies every single time, I'm just going to tell you, well,
it's not a conspiracy.
No, feel free. Feel
It's
free.
not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. There has been documents of people faking stuff. There's actually military people telling you that they don't even trust the military and they worked for the military. This is not conspiracy. This is actual factual.
You are claiming that all historical records of William Bligh, one of the governors of New South Wales, the colony that turned into the country of Australia, one of those, the man who was in charge of it, right? This guy, you're saying, faked his entire military history?
Not all of it. I'm just saying could. I said could.
Because it was, no, he couldn't.
How couldn't you? You were not even there. You were not there.
Witnesses. There were multiple
They're
witnesses.
all dead. They're all dead.
Yes, and you will be dead too. And you know what? I don't care anymore, Mallory. You're just being obstructionist.
I'm not. I'm trying to have a discussion. I'm just having a discussion. Yes, I am. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. Yes, I am. What are you talking about? I'm the one. Gibberish.
Absolute gibberish. Yes. Absolute gibberish.
I think I'm talking pretty clear. I'm articulating.
No, you're not articulate. Narrative.
I'm slurring.
You can barely. Narrative. It only has one T in it. Narrative. You can't pronounce words. You don't understand polysyllabic words. You're asking for evidence, and then as soon as the evidence is presented, you're saying, well, that could be a conspiracy.
But
you can't.
It could be.
You've done it every time. Every time.
Not every time. Not every time. This is how you have a discussion. If I told you.
Okay. Right. Calm down.
Mallory.
Right. Okay. Mallory. Tony's point is that no matter what he says, your response is, well, it could be different, without actually looking at the evidence that he's showing.
But yeah, I'm just also pointing out that it could be, but I'm still trying to listen. Obviously, I'm listening because I'm the one that's kind of poking it out. So you can tell that I'm paying attention, and that's what counts.
Okay, yeah, but you don't need to...
Okay, so, no, I want to make a point here.
Okay,
if you were teaching a class in a classroom, and one of your students behaved in the way you're behaving, interrupting you, talking back to you, you trying to present some fact and then going, well, that could be just a conspiracy, that could be just imagining, that could be just wrong. How do you think the class is going to go?
Well, I'm going to agree. It could be, and let's talk about it. And then you have a discussion.
You're a bad teacher.
Because you're saying right now it's this. Hello, people. This is what it is. Do not question me.
Mallory, stop. Let Tony finish his point.
if somebody has more expertise and more knowledge than you, you can at least let the conversation linger on the point that they're trying to make without invoking absurd conspiracy theories and denying the existence of historiography long enough to learn something. And instead, you won't stay silent and attentive long enough for me to construct any argument whatsoever. You have learnt absolutely nothing in the course of this conversation because you aren't even trying to learn anything. Learning does not happen without effort.
Do you feel better? Like, is that out? Like, I could speak now?
No.
You understand where his frustration comes from, Mallory, right? He's genuinely trying to teach you something.
Yeah, but I'm also trying to have a discussion of something. Like, he's almost telling me, like, this is what it is. Do not question me. I know all the answers. I've seen the book. And it's like, well, I'm telling you, there's an other side to it.
No, there isn't. You're wrong. The earth is not flat. You're just fucking wrong. Okay? And every time you say there's another side to it, no. Either you're being an idiot, you're being ignorant, or you're lying. Or the people you're listening to are doing one of those three things. You are wrong. The earth is not flat. Give up the counter-argument and listen to the evidence. I can present the evidence.
Full rebuttal. But at least let him get his point out without constantly being interrupted with nonsensical, stuff like, well, if you look at the other side, it could be different. Actually give him a chance.
The stream is buffering. Or at least it was.
Seems to be back. Yeah, just refresh, guys.
Okay. So the distance that people traveling is important. People need to know how much fuel to take on the trip. In the old days, when there were sailing ships, allegedly, because, we can't trust that sailing ships existed apparently, people needed to know how much water and how much food they needed to make the journey, right? And they got those calculations correct, and they did those calculations using the spherical geometry formula. At no stage has there ever been any flat earth formula for calculating the distance, right? It doesn't exist. And so they can't have been using a flat earth formula to make these calculations. And the fact that planes don't fall out of the sky, the fact that we know how much cable we need to run a submarine cable from England to America, for instance, all of this relies on spherical distances being accurate, always. And all you have to do in order to prove a flat earth is show that it's inaccurate one time. Go on. And if you can't, every time we calculate the distances between 2 points, it doesn't matter what technique we use, we always get something in accord with the spheroidal distance for every pair of points every time. Does that have any persuasive power whatsoever?
Mallory, please respond.
So, well, now I'm kind of nervous because if I say something, like, I don't want to, like, what am I supposed to say, honestly? Like...
Well, okay, right. Let me break down what Tony said for you there. It is an absolute fact. It's something that isn't debatable. That all navigation around the world, be it by boat, be it by plane, be it by sled dog, whatever, all of the calculations that you need to do require the Earth to be a sphere. And if you do the calculations based on anything other than a sphere, they are not right and people die. How do you explain that if the Earth is flat?
Well, I heard... See, now I'm nervous to say anything. Because I heard that when they did measurements and of like here to there, and there, and they're like, this is the globe. It's actually just an approx. Like it's not actual like factual. There's margin of error all over. Like isn't that what you guys said one time? Like or all the time? Like I'm not sure if it was on your channel or McToon's channel.
Measurements in general require a margin of error just for what you're doing. But that's why you generally, when you do measurements, you do more than one. You have averages, and you test the measurements against other things. And the measurements haven't just been done once and we've left it and believe it. All the measurements are done every single time a pilot has to calculate how much fuel goes in his plane, using the formula that Tony was presented, which is called the Haversine formula, right, Tony?
Yes.
Yeah. So, every pilot uses that to calculate the fuel they need to go in their plane. And if they don't do that, which is something that is exclusively for working with a sphere, then they get it wrong and the plane would fall out of the sky and people would die. Now, I was in the Royal Navy, okay? And I several times was tasked with calculating how much fuel we would need to get from point A to point B. And if I didn't get it right, we would stop in the middle of the ocean and the captain would shout at me. And I had to do my calculations based on the Earth being a sphere, of known distances of the Earth being a globe, not on a flat Earth. And I got it right because I used a globe. All navigation ever is based on the Earth being a globe. Even ancient times, where sailors would use the stars to navigate, they were still using the globe. Because the way that the stars move and they have to calculate their distances based on that are exclusively set out to work on a sphere. It doesn't work if you map it out to a flat plane. Tony's entire point is that whenever we do these measurements, whenever we test them, whenever we have to for calculating distances, everything we do as scientists, as pilots, as boat captains, we have to do it based on the Earth being a globe, or it doesn't work. How do you explain that discrepancy?
I don't know. They showed me they showed me a globe map, and then they showed me a flat Earth map, and they took the distance between, let's say if they wanted to travel, I don't know, from Canada to, I don't know, let's just say China, and then they drew a line. And then they drew on the globe the same way an airplane would travel from, let's say, from Canada to China. But there was some indeficiencies, and a bunch said that it only worked on a flat plane.
Yes,
yeah,
and
none of those
wrong.
are true. Yeah. Like they've all
but they
those
even
kind
showed
of
it. They even showed it though.
They're wrong.
They were wrong.
Wolfie 6020 has debunked all of those specific claims, showing that actually the routes only work on a globe. There is literal flights that go from, say, Australia to South Africa, sorry, right? And if you were to look at the distance that's traveled, the fuel required for the planes that do that journey, the planes do not have enough storage for fuel for what the distance would be if the Earth was flat. Because on a flat map, the further south you go, it's extorted more east to west. So the distance traveling from Australia to South Africa on a flat map is like 2.5 times more than it actually is on the globe. And planes that do that journey physically do not have enough storage to carry the fuel required to do that length if the Earth was flat. So again, the calculations that the pilot would do to calculate how much fuel they need to get from Australia to South Africa, they do the calculations based on the globe, and they get there. They physically couldn't do it.
But there was even
this is the truth.
Who was a flat Earth. He was a flat Earth, and he was a pilot.
He only does short distances, like very short distances. He's not a, like.
But why? But why would it matter the distance if there was a pilot that says? And I wasn't like the first pilot out there saying that the world is flat though.
Quincy only travels short distances that require like local maps to plan. And those maps are still based on a globe, but he thinks because the maps are flat, therefore the Earth is flat. He is wrong. He's never calculated any long distance aviation stuff, how much fuel you require.
Well, you just need
if you do the long distance calculations like Wolfie 6020 has and many other pilots that watch my channel, they will confirm that no, that they have to use the globe to navigate. the gyroscopes that are on most military ships, the WSN7, they have to work based on the globe. When you spin them up, they can tell where you are because of the calculations of the Earth being a globe. All navigation in the world is based on and this is, no matter what you've heard, right? This is very important. No matter what you've heard from other flat earthers, it's wrong. All navigation is and has to be based on a globe, or it doesn't work. It's as simple as that. And I promise you, that is not debatable.
Because you said so?
No, because math says so. And math cannot lie.
Well, I don't know, man. You could just make, like, let's say this, right? The answer is 42. Okay, the number is 42. Then like you guys got like a bunch of nerds coming up with an equation and some like x2 check mark x0 whatever, and then it would come up to there. Like, how do you know that this is not all based on just that?
Because I have a PhD.
It doesn't matter if you have like it does, like this is what's silly.
Okay, no. Be quiet. You don't know anything about mathematics. You don't know anything about mathematics.
You didn't. You're just interrupting me. I just let you spew.
I have let you talk.
I
for
literally
quite some
just for
time.
10
It has been
seconds.
5 minutes.
You won't even let me talk.
Don't use fallacies like the one you're about to. What you're about to say is I don't
even know what
understand
fallacies mean.
Fallacies.
Fallacy?
Okay. Oh, for God's sake. Like, okay, you don't understand mathematics. You don't understand science. And you think that it is possible to tell any fantastic story, regardless of how inaccurate, with mathematics and science. It isn't. It is not. And the fact that you are ignorant on this subject but think that it is possible and refuse to believe somebody who is well informed on the subject and tells you that it isn't seems mendacious. It's a lie.
What does mendacious mean?
You're lying. It's dishonest. Right? You don't know what's possible or not, and when somebody is telling you what's possible and what isn't,
so you're saying you
just
never
go,
wrong.
nah.
You're saying you're never wrong. You're Mr. Perfect.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all.
This is like a weird
please
thing.
don't
It's like
straw
people
man
who have
him.
like, yeah, but it's like saying like people who have like a high price tag school could like talk down to someone who doesn't have like a high price school, and you think that like everything you say
it's not about
is
talking
fucking
down.
wrong though.
It's not about talking down to people, right? It's not about that. It's about knowing that you're right about something.
He kind of did though.
No. Like Tony is rightfully getting frustrated. It makes sense that Tony is frustrated because he has spent a large portion of his life gathering expertise and figuring out the world so that he can have a PhD next to his name, and then you come along and go, yeah, but nah. And you just
No, it isn't. You're wrong.
You're saying fraudulent documents cannot be leaked in the military, or the government could be fully trusted, or the military never did a mistake because it's all that, or even like professors have made mistakes. Are you saying like even professors don't make a mistake? Like they make mistakes. We're all humans.
No. That's not what I said. How about you restrict yourself to the things that I say, rather than making up stuff that I didn't say?
Are you still there, Mallory?
Yeah, I put myself on mute.
Right. So
I had to blow my nose. Sorry.
Okay, so now, if this is indicative of the rest of the conversation, it's probably about time to wrap it up. Unless, Mallory, you can kind of I mean, you've seen Tony's evidence. You've watched a lot of my streams where Tony's been on. You've seen him present his evidence about sound waves, and you've seen him present his evidence about satellites, and you know his arguments. But you've never,
not all of them, no.
But you've never come here and actually presented an argument for the Earth being flat beyond, well, what if this is right because conspiracy? So I'm going to give you one chance here to present to us something, well, present to Tony something that is worthy of Tony's time. All right, he is the only real person in this conversation. All right, so present to Tony something that is worthy of Tony's time as a PhD scientist to have a discussion about. Something scientific, something actually tangible, something that is possible to have an in-depth conversation about that relates to the Earth being flat. Do you have anything like that?
Like I already presented on it.
No. You went. The worst rapper in the world believes the Earth is flat, therefore the Earth could be flat.
Well, no, because I was also talking about how those videos that I decrypted proving that the flat.
But
world is flat. And did that.
But none of that.
Quite frankly, Mallory, that entire monologue makes me think that you ought to be on medication. Because
that's kind of rude to say, actually.
No, it isn't. It's a genuine concern for your well-being. Because you seem to be.
Because it didn't because it's like me telling you, like, you have a temper, you need to be on medication. Like, that's rude of me to say, but it's tangible, right? Right?
No, it's not tangible.
So you could say I need medication, but you're perfect fine because you have there's anger issues. Like I'll be like, hey Tony, I'm sure you took anger management classes.
Right, okay, right. This is getting off tangent again. I asked for one thing specifically, Mallory. Right. Let me be clear here.
But I'm right about Tony for him saying that I need to be on fucking medication. Like what kind of shit is that?
It's like frankly, all right, Mallory. Frankly, anybody who thinks the Earth. Anybody who thinks the Earth is flat probably needs to be on some kind of medication. It's kind of irrelevant to the conversation, right?
Well, it's like me saying, I think Tony needs some lithium or like whatever those like downers.
Hey, whatever cools Tony down is good. I'm sure he's got his own ways over there in Australia. I don't know, strangle a kangaroo or something in the evening. I'm not sure how it works, but I would really like for you. Like, I don't want to hear I decoded the video because, frankly, you can decode messages from something that mean nothing all the time. I don't want to hear a celebrity thinks the Earth is flat, therefore the Earth could be flat. I don't want to hear, well, all these people, they all think the Earth is flat, and look at this clue here, look at this clue here. I would like you to give some tangible scientific data that represents the Earth as a flat plane. But I'm just saying,
like, science doesn't. Why does science? I even said, like, why does science need to be like? Can you even prove the globe without science? Or do you need your
science? Maths is part of science. Science is a tool, right? Science is what we use as humans to determine what reality is. It's the only. Wait. It is the only tool that we have as humans that is capable of helping us determine what reality is. Science. That is it. Nothing else matters when you're trying to determine what reality is. The only thing that can ever break that down is science. And that is why we demand science, is because we're talking about reality.
So
you can't use anything else
without science.
Of course, you can't show anything to be factual and with evidence without science. Science is how we determine these things.
You could prove love without science, you know.
No, you can't.
Sure, you can.
No, you can't. You can't prove. You can't prove anything.
It's a feeling.
Yeah, but you can then use science to determine where that feeling comes from, and where it comes from is a flood of chemical and electrical reactions in the frontal cortex of your brain.
To actually say to someone, "I love you," you don't need science for that. You see it by like actions, words, and eyes and stuff, and like like hugs and
Yeah,
stuff.
what you're describing is science, right?
Yeah.
So look,
So you're saying love
science,
is science?
Everything breaks down
the
to science.
existence
Not
of
everything
emotional.
is science.
Okay, yes, everything is science. Science is about understanding the nature of reality. What is true? What is not true? What is real? What is not real? So somebody else's emotional state is something that I can apply scientific techniques to. I can look for evidence. Is that emotional state real? Is it unreal? And then I compare the evidence that I've got against what I would expect to determine whether or not my hypothesis is correct. This is science. Now, when you get really technical about it, when you get to the frontiers of scientific questions and scientific investigation, it becomes a lot more technical and a lot more difficult to understand. But we use science all the time. It is the only meaningful way to engage with reality and understand the nature of reality. And the difficulty you seem to have is that you can't imagine that other people use this systematically throughout their lives, but we do. The emotional states of the people around me, I can apply scientific methodologies to working out whether or not that's true. And you just described exactly that. Looking at the gestures they make, looking at the expressions on their face, looking at the tone of their voice, looking at the stuff in their eyes. That is all obtaining data that you then compare against your model to determine whether or not the data fits the model.
But you don't need math for it.
No, you don't need math for it. Yes, but that does not mean that all science doesn't need math, right? The fact that you can do some scientific analysis without using mathematics does not mean that science where you do need mathematics is invalid or inherently different. I do not say this frivolously, and I do not say this intending to be mean. But if you think that analyzing music videos is a way to determine the larger reality around you, that's not healthy. You're not going to get an accurate picture of the reality around you based on music videos. People put all sorts of random stuff into music and music videos. They're not intended to be interpreted as some codex for decoding reality. And the fact that
But that's just your opinion about that.
Again, you are, that may be my opinion.
There.
Yes.
Yes,
but,
just your opinion.
But objectively, my opinion on what is real and scientifically valid is more valid than yours. Not all opinions are created equal.
I just find that you
the opinion of somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about is of no weight compared to the opinion of somebody who is an expert in this field.
Yeah. But, I mean, trying to determine what love is, whether it's science or not, is irrelevant to something like the shape of the Earth, okay? When we're talking about something like the shape of the Earth, we have to use science. You can't use an instinct or a feeling or you have to use science because it's the only way of determining what these things actually are. There is no philosophy or anything that can tell us what the shape of the Earth is. There is one thing that can tell us what the shape of the Earth is, and that's science. So that's why when you come here to debate a PhD scientist about the shape of the Earth, it would be appropriate to bring some science to back up what you say. All right, we get it. You personally think that all of these codes you've seen in movies and fact that celebrities are flat earthers, etc., you personally think that that is pointing towards the Earth being flat. But
Yeah, because I already
and this is
past.
very this is very important. Tony and I don't give a fuck about that. We really don't. It's not even worth arguing about because it is completely irrelevant. We do not care what a bunch of celebrities think. We do not care what you think you decoded in a movie that somebody made. You know, we don't care. We really, really, from the bottom of our heart, we do not care that you think that. It doesn't interest us.
Well,
If you're going to say the Earth is, okay, sorry.
Okay.
So
There
he
was a
could-
case of a man. There was a case of a man in North America who killed his mother and his neighbours based on the signals that were being sent to him by Olivia Newton-John's eyes in the movie Xanadu.
Okay.
If you think that various pieces of pop culture are giving you secret insights and magical understanding of the world that's very different from the rest of the world, this is a symptom that you're very unwell. And we can dress it up. We can dress it up and say, oh, it's funny, and she makes funny jokes, and flat Earth isn't that harmful. No, this is actually quite serious. And, I've been advised, seriously, and I know you're not going to listen to me. You made up your mind that I'm being rude about this. But quite seriously, that's not a basis for making any determination about reality. And you should report this as a symptom, because it is. Okay? The Earth is not flat. That's just an objective reality. I don't care what you think is in songs or movies. They're songs and movies. They're not the key to deciphering reality. Please, Mallory, I am concerned about what you've been saying tonight because it is incoherent. It makes no sense to an external listener. It has no connection to objective reality.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. That's his opinion.
What?
Then
For him to say that, like, it's an like that I should check myself in or stuff, like.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that you should consult mental health professionals.
But so do you.
Yes, so do I. And there's no stigma to it.
So do I.
I suffer from severe depression.
This is not going to be a mental health talk between you, or this is some kind of those intervention that I should need to get checked out and stuff like that. When I'm
intervention for flat Earth is maybe necessary.
Because I already talked about in the other streams that the government shouldn't be trusted, and I brought examples there, or how big Hollywood is, the
government doesn't matter.
Cover things. NASA.gov. It just says that right in the fucking website.
Yeah, but NASA are just one space agency.
Schools, they even did surveys about schools or colleges and stuff that people are getting indoctrinated. We're gonna tell you what to believe, and then when you go down social media, you could see the influence how people are being divided on certain topics. Don't tell me where the fuck is this coming from? I already spoke about this, so there's no point me bringing this up. Or about you guys talk about science and math, and then some kid comes up with numerology, and you're like, that's not real science. So you guys are changing the goalpost on what science
numerology
is.
isn't math. Numerology isn't math. Wait.
I know, but all of a sudden you're like, love is science. Like, so it really depends on, in your narrative, like what science is.
So, science is about better understanding the nature of reality.
It's a tool,
okay?
like I said.
Obtaining as precise an understanding of of the nature of reality as we can. That's what science is. And you think that we're moving the goalposts. We're not. You're misunderstanding what's going on. Numerology may be based in mathematics, but it's not science. Because it has not been validated as having any predictive value or any value in helping us better understand our reality. You talk about NASA. I don't work for the government, right? But I can prove from freely available non-government data that the Earth is spheroidal. I can demonstrate it, right? I can run the numbers on this and I can say the Earth isn't flat. And NASA had nothing to do with it. They're not involved in the data collection. They're not involved in the data analysis. They're not involved in any step. I'm not looking up. I'm not looking at stars. I'm just looking at the propagation of seismic waves through the Earth. And you can reject that. You can say, well, that's all complicated. Fine. Go, Mallory, part of why I'm here is to educate the audience, and part of why I'm frustrated is that I wasn't given a topic that I could educate the audience about. But what I'm not generally here for is to educate the Flerfs. I wish I could. I wish I could educate Flerfs, because they're pissing their lives away. They're wasting their existence on a deranged, paranoid conspiracy. Yes, there are certainly good cause to mistrust the government. Yes,
absolutely.
There are certainly good cause to mistrust social media platforms.
Absolutely.
Yes, there's certainly good cause to mistrust large media companies and certainly large news corporations.
Absolutely.
All of these things are true, but none of them, none of the problems are improved by having or addressed by having a discussion about the shape of the Earth. The shape of the Earth is settled. We know what it is. Let's move on.
But if you even talk about,
let's move on to improving the actual problems we have, not the problems you imagine.
Like, even on the thing, it says the ages between 18 and 24, only 66% believes that the world is round. The rest is either flat earthers or globe skeptics. Like, the percentages.
I find that number very difficult to believe, but it doesn't matter. They're wrong.
It actually came from
right. It doesn't.
Science.
It doesn't matter. They're wrong. So yes, more and more people are getting wrong, and you and your ilk are creating enough noise and enough spectacle that it's gaining traction. And the fact that you have a role in the education system kind of blows my mind, if I'm being perfectly honest. It's no wonder we're producing young people who don't have a solid grounding in what reality is. You can debate. We can have a debate about government overreach and government conspiracies and abuse of power. We can have a debate about corporate malfeasance and corporate overreach and corporate abuse of power and how we can better control things. But debating the shape of the Earth is pointless because the Earth is a spheroid. We can prove it. We can photograph it. And you talk about NASA. It's being done by private industry, and you're always going to have some excuse. Well, that person has more resources than I do, therefore I don't believe what they're doing. But, let's move on to topics that actually have some relationship, like, is it right that, how do we make sure that bullshit doesn't get propagated across social media? And it doesn't matter whose bullshit it is. I want it clamped down. It doesn't matter if it's left-wing bullshit or right-wing bullshit. if it's bullshit about miracle cures, if it's bullshit about whatever. I want it clamped down so that people have access to reliable scientific information, right? Because that's what science is about, and that's what ought to be happening. We ought to be listening to the science, not listening to them poring over a flat Earth map and drawing some lines on it, and boy, it looked persuasive to me. Well, they're wrong, and if you think it's persuasive, then you're wrong, and you won't. You're apparently unwilling to listen to anybody without saying, well, you don't know that. That could be a gigantic conspiracy. Yes, everything could be a gigantic conspiracy. And it's just, I'm flustered because I came into this without any clear idea of what it is that I should be presenting or how I should be presenting it. And when I asked you what it was that you were hoping to discuss or what this conversation would be about, you were quite coy about it, telling me that I sounded scared and that I was making excuses. No, if you want me to try and educate you, give me an opportunity to put a lesson plan together. But if you just want to come here and talk about B.O.B. and Kanye West and gigantic conspiracies that have fabricated all of history, that's pointless. We could all be off doing something vastly more constructive with our lives. I'm just at a loss to how to explain this better. The Earth is round. We know it's round. We've got photographs of it. We can image it using sound waves. We can check the distances across its surface using tsunamis, earthquakes, weather patterns, and planes. We can, we know the Earth is round. Every single test we come up with shows that the Earth is round. Next topic.
So, Mallory, is it safe to say that you don't have any science to present that could support the Earth being flat?
No, because I don't think the science was needed. Somebody told me that they could prove the globe without science, and I thought somebody here would do something like that, and it didn't. It's more like we just went off about talking about some dude that traveled, right? And then it just blew off from there.
Yeah, because you went nah. Right. Okay.
So the Eratosthenes is famous because proving that the Earth is a ball and how big a ball it is not trivial, right? That is why Eratosthenes is famous today. Many thousands of years after he did his analysis, his name is still known because it's not easy. It's not trivial. People cannot just look out their back window and come to a reliable conclusion that the Earth is a sphere. Okay, and if that's the basis of evidence you want, I'm sorry. Learn to live with disappointment. Okay. Reality owes you no simple explanations for anything, right?
That's a lesson in life in general.
Reality is not obligated to agree with what you think the evidence should look like. That's not how reality works. And I feel like you're saying, well, if the Earth is round, then the evidence should be simple. Well, the evidence isn't simple. Sorry.
Okay, so on that note, I think it is time to go to Super Chats. We're just going to... The poll that I put up at the start of this debate says, who will win this debate? 3 options, with 9% out of 759 votes said Mallory was going to win the debate. 44% said no one, we are all losers here, which was my particular vote. 47%. 47% said PhD Tony was going to win the debate. Well, 47% of you were wrong because no one was the winner. We were all losers here. Mallory, you didn't win. Sorry.
Well, Tony didn't win either. But then Tony did say if this was a political thing and if I was running for presidency, I would win. So that kind of counts.
Good job. This isn't a political thing and you're not running for president. And I saw someone in the chat when I was making fun of President Trump and stuff. It's like, oh, FTFE's a Biden supporter. How is he not a flat earther? Look, just because I think Trump is a moronic Cheeto doesn't mean that I'm a Biden supporter. Please don't put words in my mouth. I really don't support any politicians for obvious reasons. But yeah, Mallory, I'm sorry, but this one does not go down as a victory for you. And honestly, I hope you've taken something away from what Tony is saying, because it's very important that you maybe start changing the way you're thinking if you really want to determine what shape the Earth is. If you are genuinely serious about is the Earth flat or not, then you need to look at science, because there is no other way to determine if the Earth is flat or not. Anything else is not going to give you the answer. Science is the way forward. End of story. Right, let's get through the super chats. There's quite a few there. C-Mitch Play for $5 says, PhD don't stand a chance. Foot fetish furry flurf the frack out of him. Mallory, OMG, I can't wait for the videos. Yeah, your videos were pretty good, Mallory. I'm going to put those up in my Discord so everyone can experience those. Marty Mad Scientist, $5 Canadian says, my future prediction is PhD Tony will lose his mind in under 30 minutes. How did I do? Tony, you stayed relatively calm for about 45 minutes, so well done.
Thank you.
Yes, get in. Joe Breezer for $5 says, I noticed she didn't mention the name of any scholars, just some athletes and idiot celebrities, lol. Hey, Mallory, serious question. Do you enjoy B.O.B. as a musician?
One of his songs, but like I said, I was rather a Kanye West fan than anything.
I mean, neither of those are particularly... Okay, Roby, $5. The front man for DOA wears an eye patch because he had a botched nose job. Yeah, not everyone who covers their eye is a Freemason. Eon Dust, $5 Australian. Well, the nicest thing I could say about Mallory is that she has a very, very active imagination. Is that true, Mallory?
Yeah.
I'm going to back her up because those videos were very funny and very imaginative. And you're a very creative person with talent.
And drop the flat earth stuff.
It pains me that those talents are being, to some extent thrown away on nonsense. And I realized that I got angry, and I feel like I was justified because if we're going to be in an educational setting, then you kind of need to let the conversation sit on one topic long enough to learn, and it didn't seem like that was happening.
To you, I thought it was just a proper discussion because I'm trying to show you like my train of thought of thinking.
Maybe.
But okay, then that's a miscommunication because I think of this as getting to reality, working out what is really true, and I don't particularly, I don't go about getting to that point in that way.
Okay.
But sorry, that ended up vague. But anyway.
Joe Brazier for $5, only a couple minutes in, and Tony already looks like he's done. Yeah, that was the face of a man mentally checked out from this conversation. Craig Keeley for $2, my brain is already hurting just listening to her. I did apologise several times at the beginning. Mallory, you may need to be paying for other people's therapy bills. I hope you're okay with that.
It's going to be all built to TFFE.
That good job. That's not my channel's name. So, Seemich play for $5. No. PhD Tony, I don't think you get it. We're talking B.O.B. Kanye West and Alien Ant Farm, yo. Mic drop. Yeah.
Thank you.
Best evidence ever. Why are you torturing Tony like this? Justin Nell for $5. I just decided I don't like Tony, and I thought I'd ruin his day. Actually, yeah. What you got to understand is this is Tony's just got up because he lives on the bottom, upside down and everything. So this is the start of Tony's day. He has to go the rest of the day having dealt with this. I can go to bed after this because it's 2:00 in the morning. But Tony now has to deal with the rest of his day.
I do.
Sorry. Joe Bruiser for $5 says brain.exe has stopped responding. Reboot. Yeah, please. Luke Filewalker, €2. Insanity called It's for Mallory. Mallory, do you accept the charges?
What?
Just say yes.
No, I don't accept charges.
r/whoosh. Angel Gary, you $4.99. That's funny as hell. Yeah, those videos were pretty funny. Alan H, $5. Mallory, do aliens exist?
No.
Well, Daft Punk also has a song called Interstellar 5555.
Yep.
So space and that's real according to Daft Punk?
Nope. Because they did a song all around the world, but it proves that the world is flat. I would have to look at the video.
Yeah, but
and tell you.
Interstellar would...
A song doesn't prove anything.
No, it really doesn't.
A song is not evidence. Right, if you went into a courtroom...
No, Draco, you don't.
Well, if you went into a courtroom and said, this guy is guilty because of these song lyrics over here, do you think they're going to find him guilty?
Well, no, but like if there wasn't there like cases where there was people that sang songs about like certain topics and they actually like caused stuff. It is influenced.
Have you been watching Castle? Because I'm pretty sure that was the storyline of the last episode of Castle.
No, I didn't watch that one, but I am subscribed to him.
Castle's not a TV channel. Okay, so Mr. Unite for the Children for two...
Castle of Cats.
No. Castle, the TV show.
Oh.
Not internet. Anyway, Mr. Unite for the Children for $2 says, look at what MC Toon started. Yeah, this is all your fault, Toon. I'm not forgiving you. Philosopher King Gaming for $2 says, hashtag vote for Mallory for mod 2021. I said she'd get mod if she won this debate, and she didn't. So
well, technically, I won 2 other ones, so it's like 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And
yeah,
like
but it's not. It's
and
not
I won
this
presidency.
One.
Come on.
I might put it for a vote on my community page and see what they say.
Oh my god! Please vote for me to get a spanner. Thank you.
Design Song 1 for $5 says, Mallory, do you think peer review is when scientists point to their papers and go, peer?
No.
Good, because that wouldn't be it. Justin Nell, $5. Ask Mallory if she can tell us what the circumference of a tree is just by looking at it.
Circumference? Like how big it is?
The tree trunk.
I would need a measuring tape, but just to look at it. No.
Yeah. So you couldn't just use your feelings. If somebody told you the tree was a certain, circumference, you couldn't just believe it and use your feelings then.
There's stuff that we do. The point they're trying to make is that there's stuff that we do, like building buildings, for instance. We want to make sure that the buildings are going to stand up. We want to make sure that they're going to resist the various forces that are going to be applied to them, like winds or hail or that sort of stuff, or the ground shifting slightly underneath them. When we do that, we need to be very, very accurate. The more precise the question we're asking, the more accurate we need to be. And so, and that is how accurate, we are doing calculations of the speed of the continental plates at sub-centimeter levels, right? We're working out, the speeds of continental plates in millimeters a year. In order to do that, we have to be extremely precise, extremely accurate, extremely meticulous, and exclude as many possible sources of error as we can. And for you or any flat earther to come along and go, well, GPS or works on balloons or phone stations. No, that's not how we do it. That's not how any of this works. And the results we get are demonstrably accurate.
All the time.
A lot of the time. Let's just leave it at that.
Eon Dust 5 Australian dollars says, Tony, sweetheart, for what it's worth, I feel ya. I think we all did there. Logical Hillbilly $5 says, I think this would be easier for Mallory to understand if PhD Tony was dressed as a squirrel. Tony, do you have a squirrel outfit?
I do not, to the surprise of no one anyway.
I mean, right, someone told me the other day that most people don't have a bat suit in their closet. That can't be right, surely.
I cannot answer for most people.
I mean, if you don't have a bat suit, how do you dress up as Batman?
Well, a lot of people don't feel the need because they might get victimized by a supervillain. But it's not. Look, I'm not going to judge what you and Mrs. Fight get up to. Whatever.
I mean, she says I'm not allowed in the bed without the bat suit. Is that just normal, or?
Something like that, yes.
Jackalope Herdmaster $5 says, litmus test for Mallory. What is the device that is attached to vehicles to pick up radio signals called?
Isn't that an antenna?
Ooh, well done. I think they were trying to trip you up on your pronunciation. Why Kick a Moo Cow 855 $5 says, Ant Middleton recreated the Captain William Bligh journey. Mallory can go and watch it on YouTube. Go and have a look at that, Mallory.
There were multiple. So this was the Captain Bligh journey that I was telling you about. The guy who got thrown overboard. There were multiple survivors of that event, including the people who stole the ship, the Bounty, and sailed away under Fletcher Christian, who took over the ship. And he and his mates pissed off in the other direction and set up a settlement. And so their records are preserved, and Bligh's records are preserved, and everybody, it turned out that only one person in his boat died on the way back. So all of those people were witnesses, and all of Fletcher's, there are so many witnesses to this, and contemporary accounts of it, that to claim that it's a modern forgery is frustrating. Anyway, off we go.
Okay. String of News $2 says, why can't Johnny read? Because Mallory. Okay. Lord Luminous Poof $2 says, there are two sides, correct and incorrect. That is far too true. Eddie Reese became a new member. Welcome to Scrappers. Thank you, you awesome person, you. String of News $1 for $5 says, who needs science when you can gish gallop about celebrity gossip and crackpot conspiracy theories? Flat earthers, that too. Justin Nuav, $10 says, Mallory said she is an elementary school teacher. I am one as well, but I am curious. Mallory, did you get your teaching credential certificates from the DOE or the ABC? Sorry for sharpshooting, but I call BS.
Next.
Mallory? Oh, Design Song $5. Mallory's every argument is an appeal that Tony and FTFE please leave her precious ignorance on which to gnaw. Yeah, pretty much. Mage of Error $2. Hoping this helps you never have her on again. The money is not needed, trust me. Perp $5 Australian dollars. Ask the Flat Earth pilot about rum lines, also radar. You know, the thing that can reveal shapes of objects. Yeah, we did. He didn't know what they were actually. NA $6.66 says, I like Mallory, but she is dumb as a bag of rocks. Hail Satan. Hail Satan. Mallory, do you hail Satan?
No way. That's bad voodoo.
Wait, no, Satan's the good guy. Rachel O'Daniels, super sticker, $3. Thank you very much. Tommy DV, $1. Draco Fire for 200 Japanese yen. Do I even want to know what happened? Not without facepalm protection. Trust me. NANA for $2 says, PhD Tony, I'm sorry. I'm the one that should be apologizing to him. Cynic, SinoQU3 for $10 says, Mallory, you don't need to understand science to experience love, but love absolutely falls under the purview of science if you seek to understand the different chemicals involved in the brain. That's what we were trying to say to you, Mallory. You can have a feeling, but to determine where that feeling is and where it comes from, you need to use science. Humphrey Pushcart, $6.66. Mallory, Flat Earth Logic Incarnate, the substitution of personal incredulity for scholarship and evidence. Yeah, that is Flat Earth, basically. New member, Frank being Frank, and Tim Tully, upgraded to the Destroyers. Thank you very much, guys. High Plains Drafter, $2. Mallory equals Orphan Red disguising voice to troll you. No, Mallory has demonstrated to me she is who she says she is. So it's not Team Skeptic and it's not Orphan Red. NA for $2 says Batman sucks. Sorry, not sorry. Get the fuck out. And the Sun Express for $5. Mallory, how do cartographers know how to draw the size and shape of countries?
I don't even know what a cartographer is.
Cartographer is someone that makes maps.
What?
Yeah.
They make maps. They go and measure stuff and, you know, make maps with it.
Okay.
So how do cartographers know how to draw that down?
With like pencils or pens or whatnot?
Yeah, but how do they know how to accurately write down? Sorry, Tony, go on.
So cartography, the art of the science of cartography is all about taking latitude and longitude coordinates of locations, you know, often coastlines, sometimes mountains or buildings or whatever, and turning them into coordinates on a piece of paper. Right, so you're taking the latitude and longitude and you're putting them onto a piece of paper. And it turns out that if you just, you know, do it in the simplest possible way, which would be the azimuthal equidistant map, it actually doesn't work. It doesn't preserve distances. It doesn't really do well with angles, unless you're at the center, unless you're traveling to or from the center of the map. And there are multiple different solutions to this. This is why there are multiple different styles of map. The Mercator map, the Voldem, Lambert conformal, Albers equal area. There are just lots and lots of different map projections for representing latitude and longitude on a flat piece of paper. But the reason there are so many different solutions is because each of them have their own benefits when you're trying to turn the surface of a sphere into a flat surface. That's what they're getting at. Cartographers always have to take the spherical data and turn it into a flat map. And they do this in a number of complicated ways. So I managed to take the last super chat and make it really, really boring.
Good job, Tony. You do what you do best. Biggs, $2 Australian, no message. Thank you very much. That is going to be all for today, guys. Have had 2 streams. I've been on for about 5 hours, so I'm pretty tired now. Tony, thank you very much for suffering through that. Again, I am sorry. Please don't block me on everything.
Blocking is the least you should be worried about, young man.
Yeah, I deserve worse. You're absolutely right. Mallory, thank you for being a good sport, and please try and see some sense. The Earth isn't flat. Promise you. Pinky swear.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Pinky swear. The Earth's not flat, okay? All right?
Okay, well, you have your hand behind your back, so I don't know if you're crossing your fingers or not.
No, double pinky swear. Okay? Earth's not flat. Last super chat, Balthazar 228 499. Isn't it funny how the same the same tactic flat earthers use is the thing they don't understand? Projection. Generally, yeah. New episode of Flerfs Are Idiots will be out on Wednesday. It is titled Flat Earthers Keep Getting Arrested. You won't believe why. Yes, I'm trying out some clickbait because why not? So come back for that on Wednesday, and there will be another live stream on Friday. Thank you so much for being here, guys. It means the world. I've had nearly 700 watching at one point tonight. That was amazing. Thank you so much for all the super chats. It really does mean the world. If you're not able to super chat or become a member, best way to help support the channel is to share everything I do on social media. I get so many of my views from Facebook and Twitter. That is the way to help out. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you soon. Remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat.